Hey everybody, it's Wes, aka Joe Hunter 73. How's everybody doing today? Hope everyone's having a great week. Today we are going to be what are we looking at here? So probably could tell what I'm going to be going over from my title. I'm going to be looking at some file cards, but how did you store your file cards when you were a kid? How do you store them now? And throwing it back to a few weeks ago, Ronnie Trick Shot, Shark Eyes, Campbell, Kiwi Customs did a live stream on YouTube, and it was a nice little fun game. Very interactive with the chat and everything that we got to participate on. But they were doing, which file card was this? But before they got into that game, they, some of them showed how they stored it. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been Kiwi, but I think they store theirs in a slipcase, like kind of how you would store baseball cards. And they're able to put them in a binder and everything. So yeah, just curious on how everyone stores their file cards or how you stored them back in the day. What you're looking at here is think back when we used to write checks for everything. And we would go to the bank, we would place our order to get our booklet of checks for our checkbook, and they would come in boxes just like this. And that's what you're looking at. This is from my childhood. This is how old these are. These are like 38, 40 years old. And I have file cards in here. And look at this. I have it. My 13, 14-year-old self wrote G.I. Joe command files with a Sharpie marker back then. I don't even know if it was Sharpie yet. I think it was just a magic marker is what they were called back then. So bringing you back way back. And then, on the back of this, keep this. This is very important. I thought that was kind of funny. So yeah, I have all my file cards, most of them stored in here, and we're just going to take a look through them. I'm trying to keep this video short and sweet. I'm not going to do a viewer's mail call today on this video, but definitely share your memories on your file cards, please. And I will share that in the next catalog video I do, which will be 1993 as soon as I get that catalog. So anyway, file cards. What did we think of the file cards back in the day? What do we think of them now? They really don't do them like they did back in the day. I don't think companies, Hasbro and whoever, I really don't think they devote enough time on this anymore. Delta 17 does. I know that for a fact. I think we'll probably get them back when Carson Metaxas's 3djoes.com, when he does the Operation Recall. I'm pretty sure we'll get them for that. But early on, Larry Hama wrote the dossiers for the Joe's file card. I can't remember what year it switched over and somebody else became the writer. I want to say it was definitely after 87. Put it in the comments if you know who I'm talking about. So let's get into this. These are going to be kind of through the years in order for the most part. So now, Stalker, most of these are mine that I was able to have back in the day. But the Stalker is not mine. I got it when I got a Stalker several years ago, probably around 2020. But it's a red card back. Explain to me in the comments what the red card backs were. I forgot. I can't remember where they came from, but yeah, Stalker was one of my favorites. Yeah. So Stalker with a red card back. Really cool. And I also have Doc. See, I didn't have Doc as a kid either. So when I got Doc back in 2020, again, red card back. And the seller was like not anxiously, but emphasized that, hey, it's a red cardback file card. I'm like, okay. But yeah. And I always loved how each file card would have the picture of the card art from the front card. So, Thunder. Yeah, these aren't in order. Dang it. Why do I have Thunders up here? Thunders is a red cardback as well, made in Hong Kong. And this is probably when I got Thunder. Back in 2020 or 2021 yep. And hang on one second. Good old Wild Bill. Now this one is my original Wild Bill, I believe. Yeah. Yep. This is my original Wild Bill. And yeah, really cool. Not my original. I never had Snow Job as a kid. I don't know if this came with, it probably came with Snow Job when I got him back. Most of my collecting of these Joe figures really went in hard and heavy in 2020. Pretty sure I got Snow Job back in 2020. So, yeah, Snow Job. Bazooka Soldier Zap. Did not have him. This is not my original file card. So I do like how on the card art, it's a red. Look at that. This one's a red one too. Interesting. Yeah, please leave it in the comments below if you realize what the red card backs were for. Grunt, not my original. I never had Grunt as a kid. So I picked this up several years ago. Red card back. Another Wild Bill. So one of these was my original. I can't remember which one. Pretty much same condition. Destro. Not my original. Now, I also noticed how it says G.I. Joe. It doesn't say Cobra. This will change the later years we go. So that's kind of interesting. And yeah, I never had Destro as a kid. And I did have a friend that had one. I always thought he was a very cool figure. It was such a cool figure on the cartoons too. Now, this one is my original Cobra, codename The Enemy. So I always thought that's cool how now it's named Cobra Trooper. But see here, it has Cobra. Destro had G.I. Joe. So what's the diff? And this is 83 because I never had a straight armed version. So I had a version 1.5. Ah, the Hiss Driver. Look at the detail on his face. Cobra Hiss Driver. Codename The Enemy. Too bad he didn't actually have a code name. Really cool. Here is the Cobra Officer. Not my original, but someone put tape over it, which is, one way to preserve it, protect it. Cool. Very cool. Here's Duke Conrad S. Hauser. I always loved Duke. I loved the detail on his shirt, and just a real great figure, great detail. I wish his head sculpt would have been like this, more like this, rather than the cheesy grin that he came with. And they still haven't perfected it. Later in the later years, 1992, in fact, the catalog video I just did, which had Duke on the front cover, which was more of a comic book style of a catalog insert, had that Duke I can't remember what version it is, but that's a really good version of Duke. So yeah, really, but I really enjoyed Duke as a kid. Airborne, Franklin Talltree. Not my original file card, as I didn't own an Airborne as a kid. Got Tracker, codenamed Spirit. Not my original. Didn't have him as a kid. I'm trying to think. I don't think any of my friends had. Never saw him on pegs. Would have loved to have him back in the day. Hovercraft Pilot, codenamed Cutter, from Kinsley, Kansas. It's another. So I'm originally from Kansas, and any of the figures from that were out of that state always have a cold closer to my heart. Right, they're more of a favorite figure of mine. So I don't know if y'all are the same way. I know some of you are like that too. I think that's why Eric Hillbilly Harper is a big fan of Mercer, because he's from West Virginia. Yeehaw, Hillbilly. So yeah, there's Cutter. Can't talk right now. Heavy Machine Gunner, codename Roadblock. This one's not my original. I did have Roadblock. I honestly cannot remember getting him. And I want to say I actually got Roadblock in a trade when I was a kid. Traded a figure to get him. And yeah. Here we have the Halo Jumper, high altitude, low opening. That's really cool that they actually put the definition of Halo, codename Ripcord. Now this one, definitely. I didn't have Ripcord as a kid either. This one is is that French? I think that's French. So this is what came with the Ripcord I bought several years ago. Here's an interesting one. Master of Disguise, Zartan. And it is the paranoid schizophrenic version of the file card, which they changed. I don't know how long this stayed like this. I don't know if it was a full year or shortly after the fact, but we all know that they changed it because, having a paranoid schizophrenic wasn't too kosher to have on a file card. But again, it also has G.I. Joe here, which is interesting. Firefly, Cobra Saboteur. One of my favorites. I think this is my original file card on Firefly. I did have him as a kid. I love this figure. He was one of my favorite Joes. Scrap Iron, Cobra Anti-Armor Specialist. And there you have the Cobra logo. My original file card. The Water Moccasin Pilot, codename Copperhead. My original that I got this at a Toys R Us in Phoenix, Arizona when I was vacationing. Did a video on Copperhead and the Water Moccasin along with Serpentor and his air chariot because I picked them up both on that trip at a Toys R Us. Go and check that video out. It's up on my channel. Cobra Stinger Driver, codename The Enemy. Got the Cobra logo again. Don't know why this color is really different from the others, but yeah. Wild Weasel, Cobra Rattler Pilot. So this is a great file card. This just, Larry Hama did excellent by doing this. He may be a back-shooting, low-down snake in the grass, but boy, can he fly like nobody's business. You got to respect a skunk for that. And hey, what did Voltaire say? To forgive our enemies their virtues, that is the greater miracle. Very cool. And also, when I was a kid, Wild Weasel cut his teeth in the bus wars. I had no idea what that meant. What did cut his teeth mean? So I always figured that's why he kind of had a weird voice in the cartoons. To me, he kind of had a weird voice. Wild Weasel, happy holidays from Wild Weasel. From the episode Cobra Claws Are Coming to Town. One of my favorites, though. This is my original that I got Christmas of 1994. 1984. Blowtorch. I don't know if this is my original. I think it is. Yeah, it is. So Blowtorch I picked up. I was with my grandmother. I picked Blowtorch up at a store called Alco. It was one of those stores that sold everything. Clothes, hardware, plants. A company called Duck Walls, I believed, was the umbrella corporation over Alco. Usually in smaller towns, and we had several of them throughout Kansas. So yeah, I always loved. So yeah, Blowtorch kind of holds a special place to me because I remember exactly where I picked them up. Not sure exactly when, what date it was, but my grandmother picked them up and for me. So yeah, very special. So yeah. And who else? Now, I wish, instead of cutting out the file cards, I wish I would have been able to move this back a little bit, keep the cards like this as a kid, and just keep the file card on tacked all together. So I do have a few of these, but yeah, to have the complete card like this would have been really cool. Yep. There we go. Hold them up like that. So yeah, good old Blowtorch. Flint Warrant Officer. Now, I'll get to why this is gray here in a second. Maybe some of you know, but this is not my original file card. I acquired Flint with a trade when I was a kid, so I did have Flint back in the day. Wichita, Kansas. So again, definitely one of my more favorite Joes of all time. And talking about favorite Joes, my favorite Cobra out of 85 is definitely Eels. Now, at the time, he was definitely top, but we'll get to who was my favorite Cobra then in 85. Eels was close, but yeah, I love Eels. And here we have the Cobra Polar Assault Snow Serpent. Fantastic figure. Fantastic looking figure here. And what is cool is I picked up, and that's my original. This is not, because I cut my file cards off the card, but I do have when I picked up another Snow Serpent, because you just can't have one. You got to have more than one. Yeah, I'm able to have a complete one on file. So yeah. Nope, it's going to fall. Well, darn. Oh well. Here we got Footloose. Again with the gray. Infantry Trooper. Shipwreck. I never had a Shipwreck. Airtight. Not my original. Lady J. Not my original either. Bazooka. Not my original. I did have Bazooka though back then too. So no, I didn't. I take that back. I'm sorry. I picked up Bazooka several years ago. One of my friends had him. But so I did get to play with him quite a bit. Another one of my favorites, because he's from Lawrence, Kansas, is Crankcase. Great detailed figure. I love Crankcase. Cool gun too. Snowcat Driver. Frostbite. Farley S. Seward. Now, this is my actual original one, too. Barbecue. This is another one that I hold close to my heart because, again, it's a different trip, but same store. Picked them up at Alco with my grandmother. So I was able to, always loved going, hanging out with her because she would, give in and get me those toys when I would ask for them. Buzzer. This is my original. Picked up Buzzer. I got Buzzer for Christmas in 1985. All three Dreadnoks in 1985. So you got Buzzer. Dreadnok Ripper. Now, this Torch file card is not my original. And the reason why I say that is the fact that 82 to 85, for the most part, the file cards were this color, that little tannish background color. 86, they changed to gray. So this Torch is the one I picked up several years ago. And I want to say, do I have? No, I don't. Here. I have the rest of it. So the reason why this is gray is because this Torch, even though Torch was released in 85, they stuck on the shelves and they weren't discontinued until after 86, meaning that we got 1986 card back for this. So it's gray. So there's a little knowledge. I learned that from watching one of Carson Metaxas video interviews that he did with one of the guys from Hasbro from G.I. Joe that worked on this stuff back in the day. Also, I believe Ken Poe from Toy Connections also mentioned it in one of his videos as well. One of his many awesome videos. So yeah, gray means it's an 86 card back. So just a little knowledge there for y'all. So probably the same thing with the first original Viper, which is a Televiper. Great. Just look at the detail on that. Awkward little head nod with, but Televipers, man. Televipers are cool. Samont and Tomax, my original file card, and picked him up. Well, I didn't pick him up. I got him for Christmas in 1985, also along with all three of my original 85 Dreadnoks, Buzzer, Torch, and Ripper. They were all in a stocking Christmas morning in 1985. It was really cool. So there is that. And have a few of these here that are cut. So that Flint that had a gray background because it's 86, because it's showing you the 86 Joes down here. And this guy's from Walmart. Another cool thing about having these is just like seeing what the prices were back in the day. Same thing with Footloose. The file card I had was gray. Again, 86 card back. And here we have the Cobra Elite Trooper Crimson Guard. Gray background. 86 card back. 86 figures. Gray card back. So in 85, so I probably got him in 86. Now, he was my favorite Cobra at the time because just, he's an elite trooper. So I liked him a little bit better than my Eels, but not anymore. I like Eels better than a Crimson Guard, but, it changes. it changes. All right. So that was the first book. Let's get into the second book. And also, how did you all incorporate the file cards? Did you spend any time with them? Did you, or just gloss over it? Or did you make a point to read it, study it, and that's how then you would go and play with those Joes based on their file cards? Was it, for me, I glossed over them with everything that we got with G.I. Joe. We got the catalog insert that showed all the vehicles, toys, and play sets and figures that were coming out that year. So along with the blueprints. So that's, I was more with the blueprints and the catalog. I would read the file card before I would cut it up. And then once I would cut it up, I would just put them in the storage. So now we get into the 86 and beyond. We get into the full gray Roadblock 86. Got Iceberg from Brownsville, Texas. Iceberg hates hot weather, and Brownsville, Texas is down there by Padre Island, very tip of Texas, right next to the Mexico border in the Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of America. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Got Sci-Fi, Laser Trooper, Lifeline. These are all my originals. Low Light. Beachhead. So I was talking about earlier how we played with our Joes and what our headcanon was. Was it from the file card? Was it from the cartoon? Kind of a menage of both. I just took it upon myself to use my headcanon for the most part when I played with Joes as a kid. I would read the file card. If I liked the way the cartoon portrayed them, because I wasn't into the comics, not until my adult years, so I didn't have that to fill my headcanon. So maybe that's how you played with your Joes, was the headcanon through the comics. I didn't like how they portrayed him in the cartoon. He's kind of a jerk. But, I really liked Beachhead as a figure. Very cool detail, color, and everything, and very cool gun and backpack. And he was definitely one of my leaders, and a good one at that. He didn't complain a lot. Mainframe, another fantastic figure. Again, these are all my original file cards. Dial Tone. Love Dial Tone. Love that backpack with the mic that can maneuver up and down. Really cool looking gun. Yeah. Great detail. Great coloring too. Leatherneck. Who does that look like? Does it look like Ron Rudat? Another great figure. Slipstream. So Slipstream 86 Christmas. This is my original. This is when I got Slipstream. Also, Mr. Victor Lift Ticket of the Tomahawk. Got Lift Ticket for Christmas that same year for 1986. Read this file card. I command Serpentor. Already told you that I got this one in Phoenix, Arizona in 1986. Dr. Mindbender. Again, my original. Bat or Bats. This one's really cool. I really like the card art on the Bats. Really detailed. The glow, the red from the fire. Everything's cool on that. Too bad I cut them up. Let me do this real quick. There we go. Strato Viper. Cobra Night Raven Pilot. This one I got. This one I, again, hold close because I know exactly the day I got it. July 24th, 1986, right after I got done watching the movie Top Gun in the theaters that day. And I did a video on that as well earlier this summer. So go check it out. But yeah, this one's my original Viper. Best Viper of all. And I'm fortunate enough to actually have this as well. So, 86 card back. And, sorry, this is taking longer than I thought it would. Oh yeah, got another Viper. Got another Viper. You just can't have one. Zorana, the Enemy. Xandar. Again, these are all my originals. 86 and 87, for the most part, all the figures I still have, all my original file cards. Falcon. So another character I didn't like how the cartoon movie portrayed him. To me, he was just another, I mean, anybody with a beret is going to be a leader, except for Dial Tone, but you know, in my headcanon, he wasn't anything like he was in the movie. So, Gung Ho Dress Blues. I actually liked this when I was a kid, because I mean, you know, the Dress Blues they look sharp, very prestigious. Couldn't do a whole lot with them, but he could always, you know, stand there and look good. Outback. Love Outback. Very basic figure design, but the molding on it's still great. Just wearing a t-shirt. Maverick, picked this up a few years ago. Picked Maverick up because for my birthday, I was gifted a couple of years ago, 2023. I got the Battle Force 2000. What's the jet? The Vector, maybe? My original Crazy Legs. Now, this one's not my original because I didn't have sci-fi. I guess I had Falcon kind of out of order there. No, I didn't. No, he's good. Battle Armor Cobra Commander. So, to me, since I wasn't in the comics, this was Cobra Commander. This was my first Cobra Commander that I owned. I never had the hooded or the original Cobra Commander. So all those years of playing Joe vs. Cobra, leadership would always either go to one of my favorite Cobras. Basically, it was either Eels or Crimson Guard, the Stinger Driver, because he was cool too. And then before I got him, it was the Strato Viper were my leaders. So, yeah. Gyro Viper, just picked him up this last Christmas with the Mamba. Big Boa. This one is not my original. I didn't have him as a kid. Oh, another Zorana. She's out of order. Whoosh. Crystal Ball, didn't have him as a kid either. Picked him up earlier this year, I think, or maybe towards the end of last year. Techno Viper, really cool looking figure. Never had him as a kid. Always wanted him. This was my last year too, as a Joe, into Joe's. Now, what's cool on this one is, kind of gives you the instructions about his backpack. That's kind of cool. Storm Shadow, picked him up a few years ago. Voltar, picked him up last year, I think. Iron Grenadiers, picked up two of these guys a couple of years ago, because you just can't have one Iron Grenadier. You either have to have 2, 4, pretty much even numbers to me anyway. What do you think? Really cool version of an updated version. What is this? Version 2 Stalker? The Tundra Ranger. Picked him up several years ago. Same thing with Shockwave. Picked him up several years ago as well. Spearhead and Max. Now, I love the detail on this figure. I'm not a fan of the paint. His pants and arms and waist and head sculpt are fantastic. The torso part, it's okay. It's a little beefy, but it's really cool. The detailed with the speckled, texture on there. And I'm just not a fan of the orange camo. And then I also have Spirit, the Slaughter's Marauders Spirit that I picked up a few years ago. So yeah, that's my file. Oh, I forgot a couple of 86 file cards I have over here to the side that I didn't cut out. I'm not going to have room. I made a mess. Didn't cut out of the boxes. So Thunder Machine, Thrasher. I've got Thrasher. To me, that's how he talks. Yeah. So I'm glad I was able to just save. I wish I would have saved the entire box. And then Motor Viper, saving the day. Motor Viper, on your way. Whatever. Cobra Stun Pilot. So yeah. Back of the box there. And then I got a few full cards here of, got Tunnel Rat. So this one's my original card back. So in 87, some of the ones that I didn't cut up, I saved. So this one's my original. Got them at Walmart. Got Chuckles. Whoop. I want to say this is my original Outback. So the one that I have cut up probably came with another Outback that I purchased. I was on an Outback army building for some reason because I wanted to do a few customs. As you know, my profile picture on Instagram and YouTube is a custom of basically I just swapped the head out of Monkey Wrench and put him on Outback's body and painted it and put a Metallica sticker on there. So my original Law and Order. Raptor. I just tore this one up. And the lovely accessory packs. I wish I would have kept the other ones on there. But tell me your experience with the file cards. I mean, I know that we all love that stuff. But like I said, I glossed over them. I didn't read them. I read them, but then once I was done reading them, I just stowed them away. Got a few more of the ones that I cut out. Look at this one. This one's from Osco. So that's another, I want to say Osco was similar to Alco. I don't remember where that Osco was at though. Dial tone. And these here are my original ones that I've just kept all these years. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you all think of the file cards. How invested were you in the file cards as knowledge and you remembering what every dossier was on all these figures? I, for the most part, only can recall a few, just like the Wild Weasel one. There's another Osco. And, but yeah, it's, there's my Viper one. And there's my Bat one from 86. The rest of it. And did you cut them or did you keep these? So unlike myself, I cut them for the most part. This one here, they sent this when I bought a Python Patrol Crimson Guard. So that's kind of cool. I don't have the file card to that one though. But yeah, with everything that G.I. Joe gave us, the flag points, the blueprints, the catalogs, and everything that we got with that, and the great details on the figures and the vehicles. How did you retain your memory with the file cards? Like I said, I never did. Never. Every once in a while I would go back and read it, and then just again put it away and store them in my little checkbook box. For keeps. I would play more just out of my, using my imagination and, just having fun that way. The people that I know, it's usually you guys were into the comics. And like I said, I was more of the Sunbow. Some of those characters, I would use that headcanon from how they were portrayed in the cartoon. Some of the figures I didn't, like Falcon, like Recondo. Recondo is another one. Talk about glossing over a file card, and I don't have his file card for some reason. Because I did have him as a kid. I still have my original Recondo, but to me, he was always an Australian because of his hat that he had. I always thought of him being an Australian and that mustache. So even though his file card said he was from, wherever. So, but yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Leave your comments, share your memories. I love reading that stuff, and I will post those on my next catalog video. So again, I apologize that this was a little lengthier video. I didn't think it would be, but thank you for watching. Everyone have a fantastic day. Yo, Joe!
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.